So hi guys, first of all, very sorry for the delay because of some issues we had to skip or like switch from two apps, one from Zoho and then go to meeting. Anyway, now that we are live and just to introduce you to us all, so we have I am here. This is Saksham, and I currently study in IIM Rohtak in the second year of IPM. So I'm the part of the very first batch. Then we have Ritik. He's from IIM Indore again, second year. Then we have Ankit. So he studies in Shahid Sukhdev in the BBFIA course, and he also is in the second year. Now, enough for the introduction. Let's get started with the session because we have already lost a lot of time. So, yes, the first question that we are going to answer is whether you should be giving the paper of IIM Indore or SSCBS. Why? Because of the fact that both the dates are clashing, right? Yes, one again is my startup. I'll take up the questions later on. But yes, coming to the topic, so whether to give IIM-I or SSCPS, that is going to be our point of discussion. So Ritik will tell you about IIM Indore while Ankit will tell you about Shahid Sukhdev. So can you just, Ritik, can you brief us about IIM Indore?
Yeah, so why I am Indore? So while I was giving IPMAT paper, even I wasn't sure where I have to go. So I just gave IPMAT ka paper let's try this and let's give it. Though I prepared for it for like a month or so, I did a book called it was from North Dew Academy, and yeah, I went through it only. I didn't do any coaching. Yeah, so why I am Indore? I chose I am Indore because as the points are mentioned, diverse disciplinary curriculum. So we have vast uh, we have many subjects from different backgrounds. Like there are humanities subject. Yeah, Pearson book.
We'll
There are
cover the
humanities
questions later
subject.
on because so that,
Yeah.
right, so you can just continue.
So there are humanities subject, then mathematical, then statistics. Then you have foreign languages. Then there are drama and dance subjects as well. Then by I am Indore, you get a brand equity. You get a brand tag that everyone wants, like IIM-I, well established B school, right? The main point why I joined IIM Indore was it gets me a uh, what do I say? That I don't have to give the cat to get into IIM again. I have cleared IPMAT and I have a seat in PGP as well. So yeah, that's the most important part why people choose IIM Indore. And then of course the placements in IPM are really good. So yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. So now can Ankit, you walk us through your journey in like, yes, so one point was missing. So that was you
Oh,
have,
yeah. The main important point was this year only our director has introduced the exit option or the sabbatical option. That is, you can either, if you get into ABC or better IIMs than Indore, you can exit IIM as it was there earlier also. But now he has introduced a new thing that is called sabbatical option. Like after you are done with your UG degree, IPM for first 3 years, you can exit IPM for further 2 years and can take what do we say? You can take work experience and work from home or work somewhere, and then your seat for PGP is there for next 2 years also. So you can join whenever you want in the coming 2 years back again. Yeah.
perfect. So Ankit, can you just walk us through your part? Yep. You're not audible, Ankit. Your microphone is off.
I'm audible.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, great, great. So coming straight to the point, first point, unbeatable ROI. In simpler terms, what you invest and what the value you're getting at the end of a UG course. Okay. So I'm doing BBFIA. That cost me around 75,000 in totality for the 3 years. And if you're pursuing BMS from Sukhdev, that cost 42,000 in totality. Okay, that's great because the average salary that you get at the end of 3 years is approximately 7 to 8 lakhs. So you can calculate the ROI. Okay.
Ankit,
Second is
can you can you
extended.
can you
Yeah.
speak a little louder or more clear because I think you're not near to your mic.
Uh, Now it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So my BBA course cost around 75,000 in total, and if you're pursuing DMS from Sudev, it costs around 42,000 in total. The average salary that you get at the end of 3 years is approx 7 to 8 lakhs per annum. Okay, so you can calculate the ROI. Okay. Second is the faculty is highly educated. Trust me, if you're going to pursue for writing a research paper or anything, the faculty is very supportive. I wasn't expecting that. Even like when I started in Sukhdev, I was like, yeah, kaise hoga, nahi hoga, because my peers were exceptionally good. But somehow it was the faculty that held me through. And one more important point, that is very competitive environment. Trust me, unknowingly it pushes you through your limits. I wasn't like this in my first semester. It's third semester, and now I cannot sit idle. I cannot sit idle. Second is, I mentioned the best UG placements. Average, you get 3 to 4 lakhs in any other UG course in the country. The highest going 18 lakhs per annum in our college in BBFIA course. Big companies such as McKinsey, Bain, Google, they come to our college. The main reason for this is the location advantage. My college is situated in Delhi, in Dohili, and having a very exceptional location advantage. One more reason is that I guess you might have heard about DTU, Delhi Technological University, one of very great engineering colleges of our country, and it is within 3 kilometer radius of my college. So you see any company that goes for placement in DTU comes to our college, or any company that comes to our goes to DTU. It goes both ways. So it helps us overall. Okay. And fourth point, international recognition. See, when I was in school, I haven't heard about Sukhdev. Okay, not many people have heard about Sukhdev, but trust me, when it comes to industries, they know Sukhdev. They know where to look for those experts. It has a very good reputation in the industry. Ask any of if any of your family members is any higher senior managerial position, just ask them what they would say if they want to hire an undergraduate. Definitely, they're going to say Sukhdev. Uh, During these times, even during quarantine times, our college has earned so many international recognitions and won competitions. If I guess if some of you might be following news, then you might have heard that our students won the Harvard Global Case competition. See, Harvard Global Case. So the value that a college is going to get is going to increment in the subsequent years. So what I told you about the UG placement 7 to 8 lakhs, it can push through it. It can easily push through it within the next 2 3 years. Uh, Coming to the fifth point, can aim for IIM ABC. What do I mean by that is, see, I won't deny with the point that Ritik mentioned about that if you get an IIM and you get to do the PG also from there. But see, what I feel is that I cleared Sukhdev. Okay. And by the end of my second, third year, 70% of the students in my college are going to prepare for the CAT or the GMAT courses. So by term, I will be that hustle mode again to prepare for the CAT. Okay. Trust me, there are 20 IIMs in this country. And when you hear about those placements of 80 lakhs per annum, 90 lakhs per annum, those are the only 3 IIMs, that is ABC. None of the 17 even can match these IIMs. So I would prefer you join Sukhdev. Okay, it's going to constantly keep you in that mode. Constantly keep you in that mode. Thanks.
Okay, so that was about the pros and cons of IIM-I or SSCBS. But now, talking from the standpoint as in where do you stand a better chance of getting through when you are talking about giving one of those two entrances, right? So I created this flow chart. So first of all, if you are a non-math, you directly go to the Indore, right? Because you cannot really like apply for SSCBS or DUJAT if you are a non-math student. However, if you are a math student and you belong to the EWS category, I would recommend you to apply for Indore and not SSCBS or DUJAT. Reason being, as an EWS, you don't have much advantage in Delhi University. But when we talk of Indore, the cutoffs for EWS and OBC is more or less the same. So you stand a better chance over there. That is just that is not just my personal opinion, but you can check the facts of last year, what was the cutoffs, and you will get to know. Right now, considering that you belong to any other category other than EWS, if you are looking for affordability, definitely like DUJAT is going to cost you a lot less than IIM Indore. Like if you consider the BBA or UG part in isolation, because MBA anyway will cost you a lot, right? But if you consider just the UG part, IIM-I will cost you or set you back with by about 15 lakhs. And if you're a Delhiite, then it will only cost you about 70 75,000. And even if you are not and you are getting a hostel, and if you include all the expenses that you incur, it won't exceed 4 or 5 lakhs, right? So it is going to save you a lot of money, which in return, like at the end of the 5 years, if you are taking any loan or any student loan, or if you're taking help from anyone for financing your fee, in that case you won't have that burden after doing your UG to pay it back, because the fee is not that much, right? But now, considering that you are financially affluent, you can either finance it or yourself, or you will easily get the loan. And for IIMI, getting loan is very easy, and even they won't even check your parents' CIBIL, because they give you the student loan on the basis of the college and not on your parents' CIBIL in case of IIMI or any top management or any top college in the country for that matter, right? Now, considering that you are financially affluent, these are the points that you are looking forward to. If you we'll cover that point later on. So if you have a good base in quants, because when we talk of Indore, the quant section in particular is very difficult, or more difficult than other entrances that you will be giving, right? If that is the case, or maybe you have some extracurricular achievements. Why? Because even though 85% of the weightage is for the entrance, there still remains that 50%, 15% of the component, which is self-recorded video. It is nothing but more or less your introduction and your achievement. That is what it is going to be. They won't ask you to solve any questions in those 15% weightage, because even though they know that you can take help from someone else to get it done, so it would focus more on your academics and your extracurricular achievements. If you have those, then you have stand a better chance, at least in that 15% component, right? Then it is more competitive if you think you can handle that competition well and good, because this year IIMI has received about 29 to 30,000 applications, which is huge, right? So you would want to consider that as well. Nishchay, can you please turn off your microphone? Yeah, so that is one thing. So it is more competitive, and also the seats available are less. So I think 130. And then you also, if you are not so confident about giving CAT and clearing it, then IIM Indore is the way to go. On the contrary, if you have stellar academics, I am talking about 90 and above at least, because when you are talking about SSCBS, they have, or SSCBS, not SSCBS, but DUJAT for that matter, they have 35% component, which is your academics. My own roommate over here at IIMR had about under 100 rank in DUJAT. However, his math result wasn't so good, and because of that, after the final calculations, he could not get into SSCBS because of the fact that his 12th board percentage was low, right? So it is very important that if you are targeting DUJAT, you make sure that you have at least 90 plus over there, right? And when we talk of DUJAT, you need to have your current affairs and business awareness strong, because that is one of the pointers where people slack off in DUJAT in particular, right? Their quants is difficult, but not as difficult as Indore. So if you're not particularly good at quants, but you are good with current affairs, you keep a check of business awareness and those kind of things, that is the way to go. Then you have more seats available in DUJAT, because in totality, I think there are about 1100, 1500 seats. I'm not sure. But in DUJAT, in Shahid Sukhdev itself, you have about, I think, 250 to 300 seats, if I'm not wrong. Right? So you have more seats available there, and the competition is less. Although last year about 18,000 people appeared, and maybe this year the number will rise, because last year for Indore also it was 21,000, and it has increased to 29 this year. So yes, it will increase. It would have increased for DUJAT as well, but not so much. So you stand a better chance over here, because it is a little less competitive. And SSCBS is not the only college in that list. You have other colleges too, right? At least you can go to the top 2 or 3 colleges. They are good. Also, if you are confident about clearing CAT, then again SSCBS is the way to go, because even though if you get into IMR or IIM Indore by, like, with this thing in mind, that you will stay there for 3 years and then you will switch and go to a better college, that you get better in terms of maybe ranking or placement or whatever your criteria is. But the fact that you already have a college, you go into that safe zone, that okay, why even waste time, or why even spend time in preparing for CAT when you can actually do something more productive in that particular time frame, because you already have a college with hand in hand, right? So that is the reason why, like, I would say, if these are the factors that you need to consider, from only the standpoint of whether you stand, like in what college you stand a better chance of converting the call, right? I'm not talking about which college is better than the other, right? That is something which Ritik and Ankit have already covered. I'm only talking about the fact that wherein you stand better chance of getting in, right? So I hope I have made it clear by now, and you can just make up your mind as to where do you wish to get into, like, right? So Ankit, I think you can continue.
I'm
You're
audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, so it's hardly 7 days. So I guess all of you have prepared what you can. But what you can do in these last 7 days is first of all, don't start with any difficult quant topics. Okay, just go through the formulas, basic formulas, revise it from NCERT. That's enough. Okay. Second point is revise matrices. Generally, every year there are 4 to 5 questions from matrices, and they're very scoring, very scoring. Revise all the formulas of inverse figure again because direct questions come, at least 2 to 3 direct questions come. So you can see eight questions you can score for. Third point is revise complex topics. Generally, I've seen the pattern even in my year in 2019 and 18. There was no question from the polar form. Generally, students are stuck on that if there is a difficult question on that topic. So just revise the basic form and the conjugate. I guess that's enough. Touch functions provided a basic understanding of the topic. I say so because from the topic functions, at least 5 to 6 questions come. So see, you see it has the same weightage as that of the matrices. Okay. So touch functions only if you have understanding of the topic because it's going to confuse in these 7 days and then you're going to say what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do, and that's not good for the last minute preparation. Practice reasoning. Reasoning is scoring in reasoning is very easy. You can score full in the reasoning section. Uh, for the current affairs and business awareness. So of course, see, the paper was set in like the month of August or July. So you can revise all the current affairs from this year starting Jan to the July month, and you can practice this monthly. You can find YouTube video playlist on these current affairs. Like if you are eating your dinner or you are having your lunch, you can just hear it. So multiple things can be done at the same time. Again, I have provided a link. I'm going to provide this link in the chat box also. So generally, banking sector exams have a lot of awareness and GK quizzes, so you can practice from there. And the final key for success is, of course, practice as many mocks as you can, as many mocks as you can. Okay, seriously. In the final 7 days of my preparation, I practiced around 7 to 8 mocks, and that helped me a lot. Final point: don't try to solve everything and capitalize on what you know. Meaning that, see, +4 is for a correct answer, -4 is a wrong answer. But instead of -1, you are losing -5 there because not attempting a question means -4 already lost. Plus attempting it in the wrong way, wrongfully is also +-1. That makes it -5. So don't attempt anything which you don't know. You can try the elimination method. I guess you know that how it works. Try to eliminate what doesn't fit the question and narrow it down to what can answer the question. That's enough.
Okay, so now talking about the new pattern for IPMAT. So you must have known. See, there is no specific channel for DUJAT, but and you can like check out any channel for let's say, for example, UPSC or IBPS banking exams because they have a lot of general awareness and current affair portion, right? So that is the thing. Just a minute. Okay, so you can just pin the Ankit's screen, right? But anyway, Ankit, can you please stop now? I'll continue from now from here on
Sorry,
because
error from my side.
अरे नहीं नहीं कोई बात नहीं. I have 2 documents to show. That is why I'm telling. Right. So I'm gonna present how many marks. This is something that Ankit can answer towards the end of the session. But I hope my screen is visible now. Is it so? Can you confirm, someone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So coming to the part of अरे आ गया. Just a minute. Yes. So talking about the new pattern. See, if we talk of the new pattern, the changes that are made are for the benefit of you all. First of all, the changes are there for everyone and not just for you. So don't stress much. If you find something difficult in the new pattern, chances are that others are facing the same problem as well, and they are at the same level as you, and there won't be any problem as in you are at any disadvantageous position, right? So you have increased time allotted per question. So your number of attempts will increase, not number of attempts because the questions have also reduced, but maybe the percentage of questions that you attempt in the overall paper, right? Good thing we have 50% weightage to the verbal section, which is good for non-PCM students. See, from my perspective, why did they make changes in the pattern? Not only was it because of the COVID situation, but also the fact that JE has been postponed, or it has to be conducted now, and the final call, first JE mains will be conducted, then the advance, and then kahin jaake people will get college, right? So there are chances that those engineering students get lured into the IPM program, and it gets easier for them to clear that. Why? Because they are really good at math, right? They can efficiently solve those problems which are there in the entrance exam. So what did they do to curb that situation? Because IPM, be it R or be it Indore, both of them like diversity, right? So they like a good chunk of PCM students, a good chunk of non-PCM students, humanity student, and even a couple of non-math students as well, right? So what did they do? They increased the weightage of verbal section. Why? Because if someone from let's say someone from JE or engineering background is giving this paper, they will be really good with maths but not so good with verbal, and verbal in particular is very scoring, and in that case it becomes advantageous for those students who haven't like who have a commerce background, right? So as a science background, you have an advantage that you have like more time, or if you're a math student, you have this advantage that you have more time to solve the maths questions. For others, it's the verbal section that the weightage has been increased, so you would stand a good chance over there, right? There's no pivot, of course, because it is being conducted online, so the chances of you using unfair means increases, especially in the written ability test. So they have eliminated that. So the difficulty of the questions, many people were arguing about it, that because of the fact that you have less questions and more time available to you, the difficulty will increase. See, the difficulty may increase because of the increased competition, because the competition has gone up from 21,000 to 29,000, but it definitely won't increase because of the change in pattern. The overall difficulty of any paper is determined by how the average of the entire like chunk of people who are appearing that exam have performed, right? So in that case, even though the like it just isn't the fact that if the questions were difficult or easy, it's also about how well people have managed to cover up maximum questions in the limited given time. It's not always about the difficulty of the questions alone. The paper is well balanced, of course, because the weightage has been given equally to all the sections. So again, change in pattern is just is not just for you, it's for everyone, so don't stress much. And even as a non-math, you do still have some chance of getting in. Of course, it will be a little harder for you to compete with your counterparts having math as a subject, or those who have prepared for JEE, but still you do stand a good chance, and you can just score as much as you can in the verbal section, because it is very scoring in general. You can as well score about 100. I would say anything above 80 in this particular 30 in 30 questions, if you are scoring net correct marks, you are getting about 80. That's good, but try to increase it to 100 so that you have a better overall like marks, right? So that was it about your change in pattern. Now I think Ritik can tell you about the strategy. Compensating, I'll cover those sections later on, but also make sure that this year it's not just about clearing the cutoffs but scoring really good, because you don't have interview to compensate. So make sure that you are scoring a really good you're scoring good in the entrance itself, because the rest 15% may you can do better, or you can just manipulate your results over there as well, but it won't be so much. So the major chunk is focused on your entrance, so make sure you give it proper attention. Right, now coming to the preparation strategy. Yes, you can start.
Yeah, so preparing for IPMAT in last 1 week, there you shouldn't go for new topics. I'll suggest you should cover the topics you're good at and you have already prepared for. Revise those topics as much as you can, and try to learn all the formulas that are present. Next thing, while you're giving the paper, I would suggest like there are 20 questions, no, this time, or how many questions there might be. Navigate through every question first and just see what all questions you feel are easy and that you can go for, and you can get answers. Go through the paper first and then solve the questions, I'll suggest. Don't waste your time on a particular question. I'll suggest don't go more than 2 to 3 minutes on a question if you're not getting. Rather, you should attempt new questions, because in IPMAT, time is a big factor. It's all about timing. If you like do more questions in less time, it's better than solving a particular question and fighting with your ego. Ki, I have to do this right. Second would be that
Just
don't neglect the verbal ability, as it is 50% weightage. So like you can't make your verbal ability good in 1 week. So like yeah, you have to go with your instinct and whatever you feel is right. And the last thing would be ki practice as much mocks as you can. The last 1 week is only for the mocks and the questions to attempt that have previously come, or like you are attempting a mock. Go for mocks. I'll suggest as many mocks as you can. Just go for mocks. Yeah.
yeah, just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. I think it's on, right? Okay. See, just to add a couple of points in this section. See, it's time for revision and not learning from scratch, right? So you can definitely go through the formulas of the topics you haven't covered. But if you try to cover them in depth, then maybe it won't yield as better, like as good result as you would doing mocks or focusing on those topics which you are already good at and you need to brush them up, right? So always make sure that you are prioritizing your time in a way that it yields maximum performance. Per se, you have better chance of converting the call. So again, as I've already said, you need not like you shouldn't be neglecting verbal ability, because let me tell you, over here in Rohtak, the maximum majority of people, they are either the ones who missed the merit list of Indore by just a couple of positions, or they are the ones who scored really good at quants but could not clear the verbal cutoff by 1 or 2 marks. So don't be in the set of those people, right? Try to make sure that you are doing good in verbal ability as well. Mock, again, it's not just about giving the mock, it's also about the analysis. You have to see that if you are covering or you are attempting the right questions, the ones that were taking less time, if you have missed any easy questions which you might have done easily and in less time, maybe if that is the case, you can take care of that in the actual exam. So give about 2 or 3 mock exams and that should be good to go for now, right? Also, approaching the paper, of course, scan the entire paper before starting, as we have already said, because the main aim for you is in the first 2 or 3 minutes is to see what all can you do, and then do those questions first and then look to the other side of the paper next, right? So that you are covering maximum questions in the given time frame. So cover those questions which you are comfortable with and they are less time taking. Also, last year we had a DI question. I think it had 4 or 5 questions. So that is a scoring section, but also keep in mind that DI section sometimes take more time than your normal questions. So if you think that particular DI question will take a lot of time, then maybe leave it for the end of the paper. But yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to add something here, Saksham.
Hmm.
So like the DI questions, if you follow the pattern that IPMAT, IIM Indore is giving for last few years, there is a section like you'll get 4 to 5 questions on DI. I'll say in this last 1 week you should practice as much DI as you can, data interpretation, and yeah, it's kind of scoring section, like 3 to 4 questions. It's easy to solve.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like last year, the cutoff was 32. So that is about 8 net correct questions. Out of that, you can just attempt 5 of those DI questions and you are good to go. But also, you need to make sure that you have that efficiency over there, because DI questions, if you have not practiced enough, they will take time. They will take a lot of time. And they are made in a way that it eats up your time, which you could have spent in a better manner in the other end of the paper. So make sure that you're practicing it enough so that you don't end up spending a lot of time in that section. Also, the paper will have the calculator, but in basic calculations, please don't use it, because it is there to waste your time and not to supplement your entrance. Why? Because in majority of the cases, if you try doing the basic calculations as well just to confirm the answers on the calculator, it will take a lot of time because it is an on-screen calculator. It takes time to even input your question or equation, right? So again, don't waste too much time on a single question. You need to put your ego aside. Also, of course, conceptual knowledge along with time management will yield the best result. So also you have already covered a lot of the topics for the entrance. Now it's the time for revision and also to make sure that you are managing the time well. I, despite being a non-math, I scored a good mark in both the quant section. Why? Because I was able to manage my time well. So that is something that you need to learn and master just before the entrance, so that you know the knowledge that you already have won't make much difference unless you combine it with the time management, right? So that was it for the session. Sorry, we had to rush it up because we already wasted 15 minutes of our time. But that was it from our side. If you guys have any questions, then you can shoot. Right. Uh, any questions? Yeah, if you guys have, you can just let me know and I'll cover them. I'll just go through them now. For preparing for current affairs and business awareness, I would say you can check videos of Study IQ or any other channel which is focusing on UPSC, but you need to make sure that you are like picking up the correct topics as well, right? Some topics, let's say for example history, although there is a chance that some general questions from there might come, but not as much. So maybe you should focus more on the questions that are more expected in nature. So yeah, focus on business awareness than current awareness, but pick the right topics because those videos are long. It will take a lot of your time, right? Then PPT, yes, I'll share. How many marks to score if SSCBS, ये तो आपको अंकित ही बता पाएगा. No, it is not unfair because वेटेज 85% उन्होंने इसलिए ही करा है, मतलब उन्होंने इंग्लिश वर्बल का वेटेज इसलिए बढ़ाया है सो दैट देयर इज नो अनफेयर एडवांटेज टू जेई स्टूडेंट्स. इट्स इक्वल, इट्स वेल बैलेंस्ड, दैट्स व्हाट आई वुड से. Yeah, there is sectional cutoff. It is clearly mentioned in the new revised guideline. Let's see from over here. You can see in the this section it is mentioned somewhere, right? The
Actually, you can show them the RTI information that you opened, no?
Yes.
Yeah, this is very important. You guys can look into it.
Yeah, of course. See,
Yeah.
See, the paper has, although it's of 400 marks, but that is not what you require to score in order to get in. Although I would say this year you'll have to score a good mark in the entrance itself because it has 85% weightage. But even if you check it for the last year, the quantitative in general, for general category, you have 20 marks in short answer or your quantitative ability short answer questions. That's very less because I would say that a good chunk of questions come from elementary maths, basic math up until your 12th, up until your 10th. So that will definitely suffice to clear at least the cutoff. But I would suggest if you are not really good with math, at least clear the cutoff over here and score really good with verbal, right? If you are scoring 100 above, that's really great. But even a score of 80 and above would put you in a better position to clear the overall cutoff and the final call, right? Then any tips for verbal? See, abhi time, you don't have enough time to prepare as of now. I would say that just first of all give a couple of mocks and see if you are doing well in what particular topic and what particular topic is weak for you. Make sure that you are attempting, like, the only predictable part of verbal is going to be reading comprehension. That is the one where you can score good, right? So make sure if you are not getting answers correct right now for reading comprehension as well, then just like prepare that, focus on that particular part. Otherwise, if you have time, you can as well cover your word par made easy, but I don't think you'll have enough time to cover it. Although, I mean, you can as well cover it, but in that case, you will be missing out on the time that you could have spent for preparing your, let's say, the other topics, quantitative ability, right? Also, when you are giving mock, if you are scoring less in any section, then please take it seriously. When I gave my mocks, I scored less in verbal, but I did not pay any heed to it because I felt like that in the actual entrance I'll be able to cope up, but I wasn't, right? So make sure that you are not doing the same. Short score for IPMAT, I cannot really say because the entrance, the pattern has changed. But yeah, if you're scoring above 150, 160, that should be good. Yeah, 150 plus. Which topics to focus on? Again, to focus on those topics which you think you are good at but need some brush up, right? Because nothing is predictable in these exams. They don't have a set rigid syllabus as per, right? So like last to last year they did not have any matrices question in IPMAT, but last year there were many. So it can change, and of course we have less number of questions this year. So again, there will be many topics which will be left out, but we don't know what all topics are they going to be. So it's always better to at least prepare everything as of now. But again, if you have already missed on a couple of topics, then just maybe if you think you can cover it in like in a short amount of time, then only start with it. Otherwise, I think you are better off preparing or giving mocks or doing a quick revision. Yeah, BBFI is more difficult. Okay, Ankit ka hi hai ye to. How many marks are required SSCBS if you have scored 92%? From SC category. Again, this is something you can just check last year's trend, that what was the like overall composite score or kya kya raha tha, and accordingly you can calculate. Otherwise, Ankit can help. Verbal ability, I've already covered that particular portion. Okay, verbal का बहुत आ रहा है. So again, make sure first of all give the mock and see where you stand. If you think that you are not able to clear the cutoffs, or you're scoring in the like if you're not scoring really well, in that case I would just suggest you that first of all make sure that you are at least doing the reading comprehension correctly, because that is still predictable. You will still know that the chances of this being an answer, the answer being option A or option B, is a lot higher, because when it comes to phrases and proverbs and those kind of questions, it will be really close, and you might, even after knowing or having heard that proverb earlier, you might still miss it. So I would say first of all cover the predictable part, which is reading comprehension. Then if you have time, then do the last exercises of your word power made easy. I think it has some exercises at the end, so questions do come from there, so you can as well do that. Otherwise, just also focus on your quants, like don't just focus on one particular subject. Is IIM Indore worth it? I think, I mean, that is something which Ritik can tell. Sectional cutoffs, well, sectional cutoffs, we cannot really be sure about it because of the changed pattern. So, and it's this year, it's not even about clearing the cutoff, it's about scoring good, because there is an 85% weightage of entrance earlier.
Yeah. So like even if you pass all the cutoffs, you need to score a good score because it's 85% this time.
Yeah.
That is being taken account. Yeah.
Of course, how many RCs and DI sets should we practice every day? It depends how much you have time. Also, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that you are only doing that, right? It should be supplementing your entire preparation, and not just, you should not be focusing just on the RC and DI section. Scientific theory, those questions Ankit is already doing. See, boards and ECA won't really matter much this year in IPMAT, but I would say if you are scoring 150 plus in this year's pattern, I think it is a good score. Till last year, we used to say if you are scoring 200 plus, you are almost sure to get in. But this year, again, the pattern has changed. We cannot really say much about it, but I would say anything above 150 would be good. No, minimum 280 plus. अच्छा, JAT की बात हो रही होगी. Sectional cutoff for verbal. Last year it was 71, so I would say अभी time same है, बस question कम हुए हैं, right? So time per question is still the same. So you can expect the cutoff to be about, let's say, about in the range of 50 to 60, 55 to 65. That is what I expect it to be. But make sure you're scoring good in that, because verbal in particular is very scoring if you know how to do it right. You are able to do 25 questions. It depends on what section you are talking about. If you are talking about verbal, then that is a low attempt. If you're talking about quantitative ability, then that's a good attempt. You need not you cannot really increase speed from over here. Would be okay for general, but again, I've covered that topic. Which quant topic are the most important according to you? See, even if I tell you any particular topic over here, the chances are that, I mean, the pattern is really unpredictable, also because of the fact that the number of questions has decreased. So they tend to add, like, again, as I've already given an example of matrices, it wasn't there in the last to last year's paper, but it was there in a good number of questions in the last year's paper, although it was time taking. So people still did not, even after knowing how to solve matrices. They did not really do those questions because it took a lot of time. But still, it is very unpredictable. I cannot really say that, do these topics and you're sure to get in. I would only say that practice DI, practice RCs, and that you should be good to go. Minimum number nahi hota. Like, make sure up until you are having an optimum speed in DI and you are getting at least 90-95% accuracy in RCs. That is still when you need to do it, right? When you have attained that good accuracy and good efficiency, then there is no point of actually continuing with it. Verbals, good score. See, if you talk about cutoffs, they will be around 55 to 65 only. But yeah, good score is about 100. Right. So I think we can wrap up the session now. We have covered most of the things. Also, sorry for the delay because of some connection issues, but I hope it helped you out. Right. So thanks for joining in, and I hope you would ace the exam and get through it. Right. Thanks.
All the best, guys.
Yeah, all the best.
All the best.